Hey guys, good morning. Another beautiful day. But guess what? It is raining. Check it out. A lot of rain going on. But check out all the greens, all the beautiful scenery out there. Hopefully the phone doesn't get too wet. I'm gonna go down to the creek to fill up some water. Get some water going for the coffee machine and get some drinking water through the filter. So up here is where we have the creek running all the way from the mountain, and there we go. Check it out, beautiful place. And there's the creek running all the way down. I'm just gonna fill up some water and filter it out. So we filled up some water, roughly about 4 liters. And we're just gonna put it through the Berkey machine to get it a little bit filtered. Mostly get it filtered from the sediments and stuff. Hey guys, so in the morning, usually after I'm up for about 2 hours, I would have about 5 grams of D-ribose and about 5 grams of collagen protein as well too. And I do actually mix it up with my coffee. Usually I would only have a single espresso shot every morning. It's very, very high in niacin as well too. And niacin actually does raise your HDL cholesterol, which is good. So I went and bought this salmon from our nearest town, roughly about 15 minutes away. What I'm going to do is, for my first initial meal, I'm actually going to cure this fish, and I'll teach you how. So what you need is get a flat plate, and the best thing to do is lay down about 1 or 2 pieces of napkins. So therefore you'll be able to suck some of the moisture out from the fish. And what you do next is put roughly about half a teaspoon of salt in the bottom. Same way what I'm doing right now. Therefore it just sucks up as much moisture as possible from the fish itself. This fish here is roughly, you're looking about 700-800 grams in size. They usually come in. Usually I don't go bigger than that. If you get a bigger size in fish, you're gonna notice the meat becomes a little bit mushy, and it's not gonna taste as good, especially if you're gonna eat it raw or even cure it. And when you cure the fish, you can start to consume it within about 4 hours. If you're new to this, definitely let it cure overnight for at least 8 to 12 hours. So there's your fish, just lay it down right on top of the napkin. I highly recommend kind of tapping it a bit dry. The more moisture you can actually suck up, the better. This fish is frozen. I bought it. Even if I'm actually buying it fresh, if I'm not familiar with the location, I would still freeze it just in case for any parasite issues. So after you dry the fish, tap it dry, put some more salt on top. Usually I still put about a half a teaspoon, because the salt is gonna cure it really, really well, and it's gonna give it that nice flavor as well too. You can put herbs on top if you like specific flavors, but I don't. I just use the Himalayan salt, and that's about it. And definitely use the plastic wrap here so we can wrap it, and we'll put it in the fridge for a couple of hours. Usually I consume my fish within about 2 to 4 hours. I've been doing it for a while, but if you're new at it, definitely if you've had sushi before, this shouldn't be an issue. But still, just for safety purposes, overnight would be best. But if you're used to it like me, you know, 2 to 4 hours, go for it if you can enjoy that flavor. And that's it. That's all it takes to actually cure a fish and place it in the fridge, and you're good to go. It's roughly about 12 o'clock. Gonna heat up about 2 pieces of a steak here, roughly about 300 grams each. They are a bit cold because I had them in the freezer. So we're gonna heat them up for a good 15 minutes or so. And probably that's all I'll have today. If the fish is done for later on, we'll definitely have a piece of that as well too. Usually I wouldn't really heat up the meat. Most of the time I do eat them raw, but since these been in the freezer, cooked and put back, thought I would heat them up a bit. We are losing a lot of water, so they will be a bit dry. Now, usually I don't consume that much meat in one sitting, but tomorrow usually I don't eat much meat anymore, just because I do my carb loading once a week, and I usually do a protein fasting as well. And there you go. Perfect steak. We'll have the other one here in a bit. We're just gonna let it cool down for a minute or so. We were trying to do some hiking today, but the grass is still quite wet. So we're gonna skip it today. Hopefully by tomorrow the sun will be out. Then we can actually go out and go for a walk. One of the cool things here we have on the land is there's a lot of wild strawberries that will be coming out here within the next week or so. So this whole section will be filled up. So we start chopping off some wood last year. We left it here so it dries up, but it looks like the tarp flown off over the winter and some of them got rotten. So there's one of the spots that I'll be able to put my off-grid cabin onto. We got it digged out last year and we fixed it up. We took down about closer to about 200 trees, and we chopped most of them down for firewood. As you can see, there's nothing behind me. It's more like a crown land all across on the other side. And there's the view that I have. Very calm, quiet place. So this is right in town. We're about 20 minutes from my location. It's not even raining here. It's very beautiful. This is one of their main garden for the town. Beautiful area, and you got a massive water. You're looking about 5 to 6 kilometers in width and about 268 kilometers in length. I usually come here every year for fishing. It's almost end of night. It's roughly about 7 p.m. Still raining out there. We didn't do a whole lot. We're gonna do a quick workout actually, just something light. I know I haven't recovered yet just because of my driving and not sleeping well yet, just so I can adapt to this. But we're gonna do a quick workout, and we'll probably have dinner right after. So as I mentioned earlier, I am only working out just a bit, just because I didn't recover last night. I'm gonna be doing mostly chest, squats, and probably tricep. And every set, I'll try to hit failure with the right band. Now this is the X3 bar. Moving forward, of course, when the weather is nice, we'll actually be lifting some logs back and forth as well too. So once I'm done my training, this is my recovery supplements I take. I do take D-ribose, 5 grams. We got leucine, 5 grams. Creatine, I take about 10 grams. And full spectrum collagen, 5 grams. And it's all mixed in a half a cup of carbonate water. The carbonate water does have potassium and magnesium as well too. There you go, there's your drink. It's all blended. Now the only reason I blend it just because of the leucine. It doesn't mix very well. It actually floats, so blending it is ideal. And if you put about 5 grams of protein, it does mix it quite a bit, or else it's gonna be floating and you're gonna actually taste the slight bitterness. So we're actually gonna have fish for dinner. This has been cured for at least a good 6 hours now. we go. Got a good piece here. Probably gonna change the napkins as well too. It's just they're quite a bit of moist. So the best way to slice this, usually I start slicing it quite thin. Then after that, I'll take the skin out. Never eat the skin, you will actually get quite sick if you do. There we go. You do need like a good knife so you can actually skin it out perfectly without taking any of the skin. There you go. Again, it's up to you how you like to eat the salmon, but myself, I will only add Himalayan salt to it. And at the end, I like to have the small piece of blue cheese as well too. If you can see, this is roughly probably close to about 8 or 9 ounces worth of cured fish here. It's actually really good. Nice flavor to it, and it tastes super delicious. You guys would love it. Definitely give it a shot. It is worth it. You know, to buy this fish here, 600-700 grams for about 20 bucks. Cure it for about a couple hours and enjoy it. This is way better than sushi grade even. Cheers. In addition, you probably notice, you know, being on a carnivore diet, I don't consume as much fats, as much saturated fats as most of the audience out there. Now, keep in mind, remember when a couple of videos ago, I spoke about there's roughly about 33% of the population that cannot digest saturated fats as well. And I am one of them. I've done strict carnivore for 2 years. I've done raw carnivore for about a year, and did tons of testing, and it shows one of the inflammation markers called ApoB, and that's what causes atherosclerosis. And it's supposed to be roughly about 80 milligram per deciliter, and mine end up reaching 156. And when I go strict carnivore with high fats, 2-to-1 ratio, it was jumping close to about 354, which is quite high. So therefore, I didn't want to take any more chances and end up having more plaque build up in my arteries due to the heart attack that I had almost 6 years ago. So therefore, I am playing it safe right now till we know exactly why this is happening, or is it possible that that 33% does exist and they cannot consume saturated fats. So I tend to consume more polyunsaturated fats coming from wild salmon. As you can see, I tend to have cheese, but not a whole lot, because cheese, it is loaded with quite a bit of saturated fats as well too. So I try to keep it minimal, roughly about no more than about 20 grams a day at max, and the rest just a little bit higher in the protein intake. This blue cheese is very moldy actually. Check it out. So freaking blue, but it tastes so good. If you actually look at the benefit of the blue cheese, it is packed in many heavy nutrients, especially vitamin A as well too. Very similar to the liver, not as dense, but if you like the flavor, definitely check it out. This is a Roquefort from France.